Hi guys, very good evening to all of you. Welcome to this UDF the lecture. We are going to talk about here the UDF, right? User defined function. We are going to make a function which can extract the text and the numbers from these, the values, right? Now, guys, since in this series we have learned the arrays, and then we have learned also in the arrays. You saw the use of the split function also, and finally we also know that how to make the our own user defined functions, how to create them. So we are going to mix up all these things today. This is going to be a very good interesting example, and you can see the power of the split function, you can see the power of arrays, and also you can see that how powerful you can create the functions, okay, your own functions. So what we want here is, the idea is that if I want that, I want to extract the text from this, then this is something I wanted. If I want the number, then the number should come out from this value, okay. And it does not matter your this value whether it has a number in the beginning or in the last. Maybe in this format also, if we have something written, then if I want to extract the number 5446, I should be able to do that. So how you can do that, how you can make this function, let us go and talk about this. I'm going to tell you something very interesting in the split function which I have not talked yet, okay. Now you see, the idea is, we will create a function. Let's say we will give it a name called my split, okay. Or maybe you want to give it a name called split val, for example. We will create two parameters. One is the one, the value where we want to go and target, and then the next thing is it a text? Okay, so for text I can go and write here text. If I go and press enter, then I should be able to extract the text, okay. If it is a number, then I should go and write here the number like this. I mean, whatever you can write whatever you want, right? So in this way, this, if I write the number, I should be able to extract the number. That's what we want to go and do it. Now the thing is, before we go and write the function, two parameters we need to write in a function, right? This is something we just spoke about it. And so the first parameter would be a text, which you can see the value, actually the value, right? And the second one is the text or a number, right? Now before I start directly writing the code, I want to tell you what is the plan. Now suppose this is your cell, okay, yellow one. I want to split this A and then B and then C and then 3 and then 4 and then 3 and then 3. This is how, right? I want to split this. Now you might be thinking that this is something you have done it already also in the arrays chapter, right? We talked about the split function. Now the thing is, in this particular example, what I want to do is, the first thing is that I want to split this, but the point is, the challenge here is that we don't have here any delimiter. I mean, there is no a comma b comma c comma 3, okay. So what we will do, first of all, we will use a function called string converter, and using this string converter, we're going to make this entire abc343 in the Unicode text, right? And then we will use the split, okay. Now there is one more interesting thing in this particular example, is that we're going to talk about the isNumeric function, okay, isNumeric function. So I'm not only going to cover this project, but I'm also going to tell you that what is the difference between isNumber and isNumeric function. These are two VBA functions, okay. So let's go and talk about this. This is a very interesting and very useful information. So the first thing which we will do is, we will go and create the module. So let's quickly go and I just go and resize this, and this is how. So we will go and create a function. So let's start with the function, and I'm going to give it a name called split. Let's say val, okay. So the first value which I want to give is my text as a string, and then you want to give it a what exactly it is. You want to extract the text or a number, okay. So here we will go and write what is or maybe you can simply write here that split, my split, okay. Just write whatever you want to write, right? My split, for example. my split as string. Okay, so this is how the function is going to now be written, and what we want in the return is the string. Obviously, if text is there, then the text would come. If the number comes, that would come in the form of string. Okay, so this is your my split. I'm just going to write here my val. Let's say this is how I'm going to write it, my val. Okay, so now what we are supposed to do in this function is, the moment you get the my text, okay, so first we go and write split val. You go and select this, and then you go and write here, let's say text. If you want to extract the text, you have to write here text. You please tell the user that he or she should enter this in the small letters, because this is what we are going to use in the coding. However, you can use the uppercase, lowercase, both the options. Okay, the moment I press enter, then what should happen? Obviously, you know that the value would go here. So let me just go and press enter. So now look at this. You got here my text as ABC3433, and you got here my val as text. Okay, so now the point is here, this my text, we need to split this. I want to segregate all these alphabets A, B, C, 3, 4, 3, 3. Okay, but there is no delimiter here. So the plan is, you go and declare here any variable. For example, I just go and write here my val. Okay, and we're gonna declare it as string. So finally you write here my val equals to, let me just reset the code, undo it. Let's go and declare this as my string. Okay, yeah, my string. So my string equals to, now here I'm going to use a function called string converter. Okay, this is how it is. So what is your string? Your string is my text, isn't it? And then what you want to do, as I was telling you, you go and write here the Unicode format. Okay, this is the one, Unicode format. Okay, so now what will happen when you go and run the program, this is going to put this entire string, the my text, in a special format. I'll show you. See this, the moment we go here and press enter, and when I run it, my text is ABC3443, right? And this is something we're going to convert it into a Unicode formatting. Okay, now Unicode is something which if you might have seen some CSV files, sometimes they come in this format, which I'm going to show you right now. Look at this. Can you see that there is a this a special icon, you can say a square, you can say, is inserted. Now this is going to act like a delimiter. Okay, so now this string, this delimiter, we have to split this. So here now you go and declare your array. Okay, as we do, declare it as variant. I told you this in the lecture that when you go and use the split function, you need to declare the data type as variant. Okay, so finally my array is going to be equals to split, and then you split what? You split my string, isn't it? Now here something you need to write it. This is something new for you. So just go and write here chr, and then just go and write here 0. Okay, now why I'm writing this, because when you go and split using this delimiter, what will happen when you go and run this? Okay, now I'm just going to put this on the watch. Okay, let me show you what we're gonna get from here. Look at this, guys. Fantastic. You have split ABC3433. Okay, you remember there was no comma here, no hyphen, nothing. So first we converted that into a Unicode, and then we split it out. Now the next thing, the next job is, because I want to extract the text, okay, and the numbers, both the options we will keep it. Now the job is very simple. We just simply go and run the program, and we will say that run this from 0 to 7 time. Okay, and keep checking whether this is a text, 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 or this is a text. In case if this is a text, store it somewhere. In case if it is a number, then store it somewhere. This is the plan. Okay, so now what we will do, we will simply go and create here a variable, and you know that how we can run this, using the lower bound and the upper bound. So your array is, this is your array, my array, to upper bound of your my array. So just go and write here next j. Okay, so the lower bound is 0 and the upper bound is going to be 7, right? That depends how many values we have here. So the job is very simple now. When this loop, we are going to run this loop. So what happens here, I will go and write that if is text. You know the function is text, right? What we do is we just go and write here worksheet function. I think that function is in the this worksheet function class. So I just go and write is text, whether the value in the array which is coming from j, which would be the index, if it is going to be a text, if it is equals to true, then what you want to do, right? So then in that case what I want to do is, let me close this bracket here, then I want to store that value. Okay, and I want to store that value in a maybe a variable called txt, for example txt, and then just go and concatenate it with the value of that array, right? If it is not the case, then what? Then definitely that number is going to be a number, that value is going to be number. So I go and declare one more variable, which is num, and I say that this is going to be concatenated with this j, right? This is how it is. And then finally I go and say, let's just go and close this, and if this is how it is. Okay, now when I have to declare here variables also. So we go and declare these variables. Let's go and write here txt as string, and then num as string. Okay, so now pay attention here. Let's put the break code here. Okay, so I'm just going to run this command like this, and we go and check the values. So your text is there, abc 3433, and your my val is text there. Wonderful. Okay, this is something we will use it, but right now I just want this my text to be converted into a Unicode. This is a very nice tip. So finally you have the Unicode format. Okay, and once this format is there, I'm just going to use my delimiter as char 0. So this the string which is coming from this upper statement, this is going to split, right? You can see here there is no plus sign, guys, and you know the reason, because right now split hasn't run, and the split hasn't run, so we don't know the lower bound and the upper bound of the array, isn't it? So when I go and run this, I get to see here all the values 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? After 3 there is another space. That's okay. So finally now we are saying that I want to cover all these values one by one from the lower bound to the upper bound, which is 0 to 7. So let us go and run this code. Okay, now the first thing which you want to do here is you want to check basically whether that value, the array, this j, which is right now is 0 of this array. What is the 0 index of the array? Obviously it is a, right? Is this a text? Yes, it is a text. So what we will do, we will go in the then area, and then we will go and concatenate this a with this variable txt, which is right now empty, right? Obviously this is txt. When the first time the loop runs, it's not gonna hold anything. We have used all these tactics, a lot of time. So finally now from here the entire process starts happening. Now the j will be 2, j will be 1, and the one index of the array is basically b. So if you go and hover your mouse here, this says that this is b, and b is a text, isn't it? So we go in the f8 mode, and now the previous value which is already stored in this txt, it is going to be concatenated with b, right? So finally you will have a new value which is called ab. Getting my point, right? So this process keeps on repeating. The next j is going to be 2 because loop is moving forward. Now 2 we are using it here in this array. So my array 2 is c, right? Which is again a text. So you go and again the new value of that array which we are getting from this statement, which is c, this is going to be concatenated with your txt, which is now holding ab. So this is how we are actually carry forwarding the values, right? We are storing the previous values also, and with the new array, whenever we come in this then area, it is getting concatenated. So simple, right? So again I go and run this. Now the next time when you go and run this, this is very interesting. Now see this, your j is now 3, and the third index of j is 3, which is which is a number, but the point is this 3 is not a number. Ideally it should be a number, but this is not a number. When I go and press F8, you see that it's basically has gone in this area, and this is going to be now a pain for you, right? The reason is very simple, that you have declared the data type as string, isn't it? Your this the my array, this is declared as a variant, and when it is declared as a variant, basically the data type which the variant, the VBA has given it is a string, right? Obviously because there was some text also, right? So in this case now, when you go and run this, pay attention here, this my array 3 will be concatenated with this ABC. Eventually you will lose your all the, this in the purpose of this entire code, because in this case now 4 3 3 all the things are going to be considered as string. So eventually what will happen when you run this entire thing, I'll show you. When I run this F5, see this, you will have ABC3433, right? So you cannot go and use here this is text function, guys. Okay, because numbers, once you split, that split function will, once the split is going to create an array, all the values will be in the form of text. Okay, so that is the point, right? And you can't go and declare this as a long, the error will come because you're using the split. So with the split, array has to be a variant data type. What is the solution here? Now the solution here is that if I go and write here a function called worksheet function dot is number, right? Maybe you say that, okay, so why don't we just go and write this line instead of the is text. Let's go and find out that which value is a number, because in that case the true will never come as the text will never come as a number, isn't it? Number can be considered as a text, but text never happens. Text never, you can't convert the text into numbers, the pure text I'm talking about, like A B C D E F, right? Alphabets, right? But in this scenario also there will be a challenge. I'll tell you what. The moment you just go and run this command, this is very important. So when you run this, the first value, which is your A, obviously, right, which the split has returned, this is not a number, we know that, right? So let me go and run this command. You see that it moved in the else mode, and this is a good news for us, isn't it? So now we will go and capture the value in this num, right? Ideally now you should change this num to txt, and this txt should be a number, right? Because you're writing now is number, not a is text. So what we do is, to make this readable, I go and create this number variable here, and this is going to be txt and this is going to be txt. That is how it is. Okay, so again let's go and run this. So let me quickly start this. So the first value which we will have here in the array, that's going to be a, right? And that is not a number, so we will go in the else mode definitely. Once you go in the else mode, here you will capture that a text with this txt which is empty. So finally you have extracted the a from here. Now you can see here I got here my a. Very nice. Let's go to the next j. Now the next j is going to be obviously the next index is b. So here you will have a new value which is called b, and then I run this, and finally then this is going to be b and this is going to be a. So you have concatenated a and b. So finally you will have a b here. Okay, same process we will run it here again, and this time now we have here C. C is again a text, not a number, it's a text, right? So we go in the else mode, and finally this array C is going to be concatenated with the previous value AB. So this entire process again repeats itself, right? Now let us see what is going to happen here now. This is very important. Now you know that your array is going to show you now 3. Is it a number, right? Now when you go and run this C, again the same problem comes. This is very important. Even is number will not be able to recognize that this is actually a number because of this data type called string, right? You see that 3 is enclosed with the double quotes. So what to do in this situation, guys? You will not use the is number. In this situation, what you will do, you will use is numeric. Now you're gonna ask me that what is the difference, right? Is numeric is a function which you cannot use in the Excel, though is number is available in the Excel, but in VBA is numeric is also there. Now I'm gonna just pull it back, and now I'm gonna run this again, and I'm going to show you what will happen now. See this is 3. So I have reset the code, and what I'm going to do is this is numeric. If you go to the object browser and if you go and click here is numeric, you see that this is a function which basically comes from the information class. This is not a part of worksheet function class. Okay, this is numeric, right? So I'll tell you the difference between is numeric and is number. I know it is very important, so you can go and write here the information class as well, like this. Okay, or maybe you can simply go and write is numeric as well. You can just go and type in here is numeric and just go and write it, right? Information you need not to write, as I said in my previous lectures also, right, when we were talking about the basics of UDF, but I'm just writing it so that you should know that there is another class here which is called the information. Now I'm going to put here the break code, and let's quickly go and press enter, and let's quickly go and run this. So there we go. Now you know that the first time the loop runs, it's gonna pick up the A, so we go quickly to the else mode and we pick up the A, and then again else, and then again the one more time the else. So finally your text is going to hold now ABC, right? Now let's go and talk about the digit, which is C. Now you know that C, this index is my array J is now 3, which is obviously a string. But you know what does is numeric does? When I go and run this, can you see that it did not go in the else mode, whereas when you use the is number, it taken you to the else mode. What was the difference, guys? Now see this, what is numeric? Just note it down, right? I'm gonna write it in the VBA. So is numeric, what it does, it checks whether a number which is there, maybe it is stored as a number or maybe it is stored as a text. It checks that whether this number can be converted to a number or not, whereas is number, what it does, it only checks whether this is a number or it is not a number. I again repeat, is numeric says whether this number can be converted to a number or not. Is number says is this a number or not? Simple. Now if I look at this 3, if I say is it a number, what is your answer? No, it is not a number. But if I ask you, can it be converted into a number? Yes, it can be, because actually the nature of this 3 is a number, but somehow due to the code it actually converted to a string, but it is convertible to a number. This is what the is numeric does. It actually checks whether this value can be converted to a number or not. That's how we go and use the is numeric, right? Whereas the is number only checks is this a number or not. No, it is a string, so let it be. So you have to now use is numeric, is number according to the situation. Okay, so now we got this 3. It is a convertible, it can be converted to a number, and that's the job of the is numeric, sorry, and that's why you are in the then area. And finally now we're going to capture this 3 with this num, which is empty. So finally when we run this, what we have, only 3. Okay, so once we have 3, again I go and run this program. Next time you have another value, guys, which is 4. Now this 4 again is it convertible to a number? Yes. So what will happen? Finally you have here 4, which is going to be concatenated with this 3, right? So the moment I quickly run this code, I simply go and press F5. Finally you have here number as 3433 and txt as ABC. Fantastic. So what you need to do, if you remember, I said that you always need to write the function at the end of end function to return the value. So you want to write here finally that if your myval, if your myval is your text, then what do you want to do? In that case, your function, which is your split val, that is going to be equals to txt, isn't it? Else if myval, if your myval is, let's say you tell the user that if the user has entered there, let's say a number, in that case what do you want to do? Alright, sorry guys, I had to pause the video. My Excel actually got hung up, so I have restarted the Excel. Alright, so now I was telling you that in case if it is a number, then what you want to do? Then you want to say then your this function, which is this function split val, this is going to be equals to your variable called num, isn't it? And in case if it is not the case, I mean if there is something else which user has entered, then we can't help it out, we simply go and say that that should show as an error. So you can go and write here error blank, whatever you want to do. Okay, I put the break code here, and now I'm just going to run this function here again. So I go equals to split val, I select the cell, and let's say I want to do the text. Okay, I go and press enter, and finally I have run everything. You can see here we got the number, here we got the txt, right? So finally what you have entered in this the parameter called myval, this is how this if function now will go and execute the then or the else mode. So finally we say that my val is text and it is equals to text, so I go in this split val, and this is going to return me txt, which is this variable, okay, which is abc. So finally when I go and run this, you see that I got here my ABC. Make sense? Now let's say I do not want this, I want number. So user will go and write here number like this. You can write whatever you want, right? That's all up to you. Again I go and press enter, and when you go and run this command, you know that this is how it is going to work now. So this function is going to be equals to your num, okay, and by the way this is a variable, sorry, you should not put this under the double quotes. So this num, whatever the value it holds, that's going to come here, which is 3433. okay, so go and press F5 now. You can see here that let me just go and press F5 again. There we go, we got here 3433. Now just in case if user let's say enter something called num, then what will happen? Then your all the conditions of if will fail, because neither it is txt nor number, right, as per your condition. So what will happen if this is going to happen, then it just go in the else mode, and in the else mode it will print the error or whatever you want to write. Maybe you can go and write here that check your second parameter. That's all up to you, I leave it to you. Okay, finally we got to see the error, right? So a lot of important things we are are discussing here. This is how it is, right? Now also one more thing, as you know, if is always a case sensitive. So if user, let's say, go and write here a number, but it is in the small letters, the moment you go and press enter, you can see here I got to see here my 3433, because of the reason that I have entered here in the small letters. But if I go and write here this in the capital, this is not going to work, and this may happen, you never know, user may forget that, right? So when I go and press enter, this is going to give me the error, which is absolutely crazy thing, right? So if you go and press txt, you see that, because if is a case sensitive, so you can deal with this situation. You can say that if my val is going to be equals to txt, or maybe you can just go and use the another format, which is you can say that or just go and put it here my val, and go and write here in this way txt, or you can again go and say that or, and then here this is how the first alphabet also you can keep this, right? I think by default when you go and write, generally people use these three formats, either everything going to be lowercase, or this is going to be the all the uppercase, or maybe in this the proper case first alphabet, right? Nobody is going to write in Excel in this way that first this is E and then the capital X. Nobody does that, but still you can tell your user that either enter the uppercase or the lowercase. This is very important for this, right? Same way you can go and write this here also, or. So in this case what happens when I go and now press enter, you see that I have been able to extract my text. So this is a super cool option. You can see here it extracted even ACHF, right guys? This is how it is. So let's go and quickly recap everything. What is number? Because this is very important, right? Is numeric. So is number checks whether the number is a number or a text, right? If you guys know the Excel, number can be stored as a text also. For example, if I go and press say 100, it immediately moves to the right side, which is an indication that this is a number. But if I go and put the quote, the single quote, and I go and press 100, it remains on the left side, and this pop-up comes. You might have seen this also in your Excel file. Sometimes this happens when generally we import the data from the external sources like CSV file, TXT, text files, or the Access database, right? Sometimes the formatting get changed, so we have to take care of it. So this is number only checks whether the number which is there, it is a number or not, and then it turns accordingly, true or false. But this is numeric says that it checks whether the number is convertible to a number or not. So there is a huge difference. So if you go and write the is numeric in VBA on this, it's going to return me true, because this number can be converted to a number. If you go and put the is number in the VBA, then this is going to show you as what? Obviously as false, because this is not a number, right? So that's the reason actually we used here is numeric, which is coming from the information class, right? And obviously, needless to say, you can use this function anywhere. I mean, even if you go to this the sheet, and here you go and write maybe some number called like this, like this, and you simply go and say that I just want to split this, and I go in this cell and I want to just go and split this as a text. So you go and write here text and press enter. Can you see that? So powerful. I'm sure you must be enjoying this video right now, right? Because we have done a lot of things. We use the split function in a style, right? We first use the VB Unicode, so string converter is also something we have used, and then is numeric function, and then of course the looping part, right? So this is how you can use this pretty useful function, split underscore val, right? Your own UDF function, right? You can download the file, you can practice on this, and I'm here to assist you. Anytime you have any problems, just shoot out your question, guys. I would love to answer all the questions. Thank you so much. All the best to you. Bye bye.